comment.
Do you want me to tell you now? That's probably better protocol. I was just going to give you a board update a little bit.
Sure.
We had a work session yesterday. Yeah, no.
Yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. That's the 28th. Okay. Yeah, it is.
But it was, the date and the time were wrong.
Oh, I brought the wrong one, but this is last week. We had one last night. Sorry. Thinking straight. Last week we had a work session with Cindy Dodge, who used to be an MPA employee. She was one of the educators, and she retired to do her own company, and now she works with them occasionally. But we had some questions about policies and the chain of command and who signs what and who's responsible for what. And just with a couple new board members, we thought it would be nice to just have everybody know who's supposed to do what. So if you're interested, I can email it to you. A summary from Cindy on who does what and how the board functions with staff. So that was pretty
Talking about the
interesting.
different roles, like Vern. Oh, okay.
Kind of general, but especially like supervisor does and stuff. When you have a superintendent like Dennis Leamington went down to Grand Blanc, he's totally in charge. The board and the supervisor have no authority. He does everything. So in our case, we have a manager, and only some of those duties that I am responsible for get delegated to him, and they're delegated by the board. I can decide if I want to turn them over or not. So we did this years ago. So some of that might have to change. Roger was seeing some discrepancies in how job description and stuff was done. So, signing contracts and stuff like that, it's not really important, but that was last week. Then yesterday we had one with Mitch Nordahl, and Drew was there from UP, Invest UP, and Steve Arwood, yeah, is online. And Mitch's proposal is that, in a nutshell, the township put in the infrastructure. We borrow the money from Invest UP, 1 or 2% interest, and then Mitch makes the payments. So the question that, my first question was, what happens to our bond rating? Our bond, Invest UP buys the bonds automatically. It's kind of a different scenario. So Roger's looking into whether we can even do this. Because we also have the city project. We're trying to buy, or work out buying 16% of the water plant and become, part owners. That's in the process. It's being in the bond process. So we don't know if we can do those bonds or if it changes our rating, or so there's a lot of John's got a call tomorrow with
And in the meantime, there's other cars coming, and then there's cars coming behind her. That road is so heavily used. And so, anyway, I ended up turning around, I went back out, and there wasn't an accident, but I don't, if the truck was broke down, he should have had, they have to by law put out those caution triangles, like 2 or 3, so many feet behind the truck and behind each other triangle. There was nothing like that. So I don't know if he parked in that turn lane so he could go to Starbucks or what. But that semi was still sitting there, and that had to have been a good 15 minutes later. But I mean, talk about screw up traffic there. It's
gonna be major.
it's going to be major, and there's nowhere for another exit for those businesses.
Who owns that road again, Lynn?
Renalari now.
Yeah. and-
No, I mean, the 492 turnoff. That turn from 41 to 492.
Right by
Oh, that's just a
Starbucks
wasn't available. I take that back. Renovari did ask SUP to partner with them back in 2.5 years ago. And they said no. But I think their funding structure was different then. And what's happened with InvestUP, I'm sorry, yeah, InvestUP is different than the rules that BuildUP has.
Yeah, I read that.
BuildUP is a subsidiary, I don't know if that's even the right word, or a partner, or, an affiliate, I don't know what connection they are, but they're together. But they do different things.
Well, Arwood's pretty sharp in terms of financing. Hopefully, between Roger Zappa and.
Yeah, he said something yesterday that was wrong, Roger corrected him on how this has to work. I'm sorry I don't have better answers, but that's just, we had so many questions yesterday,
But you got $500,000 in the bank now,
We
right?
do, yeah. The board has to figure out what to do with it. Originally, the idea was to put it up, and pay them down. So we still could do that somewhere else.
So if it falls through, you still got paid, but we don't have a project, but Incredible Bank would then, if they own the property, put it up for sale and something else would happen there. I mean.
Protecting us,
Let it play out.
you have to protect us, that's what Roger's
I'm
got.
sure they had their
Had to have some.
infrastructure numbers in play when they were doing all their numbers.
Yeah, otherwise I can't imagine how they'd even qualify for financing. So they must have a backup plan there.
Well, they still can do it. What he wants to try to do, and he didn't say this the other night, last night, he wants to try, he told me he wants to try to put garages and basements in. So by having that million whatever of infrastructure taken care of, that frees up to make
That would be nice.
nicer units. So that's a good thing. So maybe that's Plan B, I don't know.
Keep our fingers crossed.
If they project for whatever reason falls apart or whatever, was there ever any past discussion by the township board to approach the road commission about, I don't know how that works with a road, who owns the roads?
Road Commission.
Okay, they actually own them. I know they're responsible for them, but I didn't know if they owned them or not. So, do they have to buy that property then? Let's say.
She wants to put a permanent road behind
Yeah.
Goodwill.
There's no room now.
Oh, I know,
No,
but
but
let's
if it
say they fall
falls
through.
through.
Oh, I don't have a lot of faith in this developer. I don't, if I had been on the planning commission early on, I would have had more to say about that. But anyway, if that falls through, I mean, is there,
You could sell it to the road commission.
Yeah.
That section, yeah, if they haven't gotten to that point yet, building. Because the fence is gonna go right up to, well, you know the plans, that goes right up to the fence that's there now.
official traffic, visiting traffic going to and from. Like Lynn said, I know the fire department talks about it all the time. I know the sheriff department has issues with it, but homeless people going back and camping. There's a camper back there going on the new Commerce Drive. As it's been realigned, you can see, going on that, you can see a camper in the back corner with footprints going to and from in the snow, which makes it kind of easy to deduce. So I know that the fire department's been, or has had issues with people camping and with tents, cars. Lynn said too, the church was having problems with people dumping cars, junk, everything else. So that was their reasoning, being that there are, again, it is a concern from a public safety perspective, but being that there are other egress to the property, for lack of a better term, we kind of felt our hands were tied as far as a enforcement perspective from it. We can't make them clear it when, again, they're not open yet and they're having those issues and there's other egress, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure though with insurance policies, if you, I mean, you get a lot of snow up here, and if you don't have a fire path plowed around your building, and you have a fire, and the fire department can't get to it, there's definitely some controversy there when you have a claim.
There-
A claim for insurance purposes.
And there, I know we talked about kind of the alignment of the parcel lines in that area after the mall sold the former JCPenney's space to the church, and how the parcel lines were then realigned. So looking at those parcel lines, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that the entrance that's snowed in right now is the only egress that's on the property proper of the church. Whether or not, I assume they would, probably existing from the JCPenney days and whatever was there prior, but I would assume that there are easements, access easements through the exit and entrance off of 41, and then the kind of backward area that you're talking about. So I'd assume there's easements in place for traffic to use those to get back to the JCPenney property. But I guess that's something that could be looked into maybe, because then there might be a case to be made there when, if that's their only legal entrance, it would absolutely need to be there. So.
Is there a,
They're supposed to be opening it this spring though.
is there a lane that's even plowed around the church? There is, so like, for whatever reason, if the fire department needed to get in there, they could get it
fast, right?
Well, that was very informative.
Oh, it was, it's great.
All right, new business, 2025 Planning and Zoning Department permit review, informational. Mark?
Yes, we got some kind of stats in your packet tonight, as well as some information here. So we kind of ran the numbers on total number of permits issued through 2025 up on the board for you to see. This did include 15 new housing units spread between 13 new single-family as well as 1 duplex. And I might as well just go to the next slide, right? As we say that, this map also is in your packet, probably a little bit clearer in your packet than it is on the screen here. I mean, so you can see it's spread throughout the township. I will note the dot up on Eagle's Nest is 2 separate dots, and then also the dot right above where it says Grove Street, right here is also 2 separate dots. Looks like one. That's the new 3 silos PUD development. So we issued 2 new single-family home permits for houses back there. That blue dot represents the duplex. That's the one on Werner that was approved by the Planning Commission via special use permit. Take that way to and from work often, and it's kind of been fun to watch that go in, being that it was one of those kind of prefab one that they just drop in. So they dig the big hole and they put the footings in and they drop the building in, and they've been doing although probably pretty frozen now and snowed over, but probably finish up the landscaping and everything in the spring. So
Is there one is that Lake Enchantment and then Morgan Meadows?
the one farthest south would be Lake Enchantment.
That would be Lake Enchantment?
Or no, that would be Morgan Meadows, eh? Yep. So the one further south would be Morgan Meadows, and then the one immediately to the north of it would be Lake Enchantment.
And then the one directly above the Lake Enchantment one, is that Legacy Hills?
Yep. Yes. Yeah, I think that one, I don't know if it's constructed yet, but once it's constructed, that would make the 3rd or 4th house back there. So again, pretty geographically spread out.
I have some questions, Eric. Eric?
Yep.
I have some questions on the 2 dots you had on Eagles Nest Road. The first, there's a brand new house that's being built, and it's the first house
Yep.
there on Eagles Nest. And it's gonna be a beautiful house. They're out there in all kinds of weather. They were out there today too. They're doing the interior now, I think. Is that one of the?
I'm pretty sure that one, the permit was probably issued near the end of 2024.
Okay.
It's been working throughout 2025.
So then, moving up Eagles Nest Road, I would think it would be about somewhere beyond 254. A young guy and his wife, Cyrus Economides, and his wife they hadn't done too much work this year, but last year they put in a foundation and stuff. So that's one of them?
I think that's 2024 too, I believe.
2024.
I could get you the 2 applicants on
Okay.
who I'm talking about.
And then moving farther up, there's 262
Okay.
Eagles Nest Road. And that is it's right there along the lake. Of course, all of them are. But when they were staking that out, it looks like they
can't say for certain. I don't have the kind of list
All
of
right, well,
addresses and applicants.
All right, well, let me get to my real question. So, for Economides, you know, he's got the foundation in, and he's got a permit posted,
Mhm.
a soil erosion control permit, which is required by ordinance, and also is required by ordinance that it be visible from the road, which it is. The one just south of 286, they have a permit there too, and it was a permit from Eagle, because they had to just go over a little bit of a wetland area there. However, the one at 262, which just has the foundation on a slab and says 262 Lot 3, has no permit visible from the road at all. So I'm fine, I'm glad that people are building there. So it seemed a little, it just caught my eye.
Yeah.
But what I'm really wondering about is that piece of property, they talk about Lot 3, so there must be a Lot 1 and 2. So is this like is it permissible to have 3 houses, you know, in a row? It's fine if it is.
Right.
Or is it some kind of subdivision? I mean,
I'm gonna look into this one a little further and
Will you
follow up.
look into that? Because it's.
But if I'm not mistaken, the one you're talking about, 262 Lot 1 or 3 or whatever it is, that property is tied to, it's all one parcel ID number, but it's tied to property across Eagles Nest Road.
Right, I think it's owned.
Lot 1 and 2 are, I think, are probably on the other side, and Lot 3
Oh, okay,
is there. So again, I'll look into it and give you a firm answer, but
okay.
I think, if I'm thinking correctly, only one house will be on Lot 3, and the other ones would be, if they build, would be up on the other side.
I see, okay, thank you. Okay.
So yeah, besides the new housing units, residential improvements, I mean, we're pretty active. Let's see, 8 decks, 16 garages or accessory sheds, 11 fences, 11 residential remodel projects. That would include expansions, connecting your garage to your house so it's not detached anymore, things like that. I will note that, say, if somebody just wants to overhaul their bathroom, a lot of times they'll reach out to us at the township and say, do I need a zoning compliance permit? And they say no, because you're not changing the footprint or the use of the thing. But the county won't issue their permits until they have a zoning compliance in hand. Or they get an email from somebody at the township, from staff, saying these guys are good to go, they don't need a zoning compliance. So, point being that some of those smaller scale remodeling projects, like overhauling a bathroom or a kitchen or whatever, may not be accounted for here. This would be strictly zoning compliance permits issued.
Alter the footprint of the.
Right.
Okay.
Footprint or use. Although when you're talking residential, you're almost never changing the use from residential to commercial or whatever other use. We also saw, as you can see, 6 solar applications. So that's those ordinance amendments we made, I think, in 23. That's 6 fewer special use permits that came before us here. And those were dealt with directly by staff. And it's nothing but good things from solar contractors and the people that are applying for them. So they don't have to go through the special use permit process anymore.
Other than UP Solar, is there any other contractors here that are doing that?
Locally, Peninsula Solar is
Peninsula Solar.
Yeah, really, that's the only one that comes to mind. There might be other small scale. I might be mistaken, but I think all 6 were probably done by Peninsula Solar. I can't think apply for a solar install. The one that I can't think of, it was from somebody out of the area, like a downstate company that was doing work for somebody up here. So, yeah, beyond that, commercial numbers are at the bottom there, 13 commercial remodels, 6 new businesses, and then 170 business licenses. So, currently, and I'll give you a little business licensing update under the planning and zoning report, but I think I issued 94 and 95 today. So,
Wow.
obviously, I think we put a March 1st deadline on it, and we're really not out to fine and fee people. We don't really have the manpower to do that, so we try to get as many businesses licensed as we can, but there's only so much we can do with it.
Has Aldi, what's the story on Aldi moving into Best Buy?
Well, it's Mount Manufacturing owns that Best Buy property. They'll be moving in.
Oh, that's right, Mount, I'm sorry. I forgot.
I'm not sure on their timeline.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll give a little update on, I mean, nothing I can really share, but I mean, talks with Aldi continue. They do have a couple other sites that they're looking at in the township. So that's still ongoing. I know everybody wants Aldi here. We do too, but. That's about all I can say on it at this point. And other than that, I really don't have anything else on this. We just wanted to kind of run these numbers for your benefit as well as ours. So that we could kind of put in the file. I think it would be interesting to, and we didn't do this for the meeting, obviously, but run these numbers compared to 24 and 23 and 22, as well as maybe comparing them to other townships in the county. I do know the county building department runs numbers like this per township. I don't know when they get those out for the past year, but it might be interesting to compare against those two.
I mean, there are 176 businesses in the township then?
Well, the new businesses would be included in the 170 number. And like I said, we try to get everybody and do our best effort to get everybody, but there may be a few missing there, so.
How does that, do you send something out every year?
Yeah,
to all the
we do
businesses?
a mailer every year. And I will note on the mailer, on the topic of addressing, on the mailer this year, we did include a blurb. I worked with the fire department to kind of massage the language, letting them know that addressing numbers will be required come, like, I think we said 2027. The fire department needs to update some of their ordinances to like, put it into law, basically, because there's really nothing there. We may have had this discussion before with the update of our property maintenance ordinance for whether it was an oversight on our part or what, but we did not include specifics on addressing. And so the planning department and the fire department were trying to figure out, okay, who's gonna, either the fire department needs to put it in their codes, an addressing minimum or an addressing requirement, or planning needs to put it in their ordinances. So the fire department is gonna work towards adopting the most recent National Fire Protection Act, NFPA 2024 or 2023, or I don't know the year on it, but they're gonna this year work on getting that into place, so then come 2027, they can start enforcing those addressing requirements when they do their inspections on different businesses and houses and short-term rentals. So it was basically a courtesy notice this year on the mailer, saying that come 2027, the fire department will be enforcing this, but as a courtesy notice, here's the requirements, so get it into place now so you don't have any issues. So that was sent to all businesses in the township.
Is it just the standard fee for all business licenses, or is it prorated by size of the?
It's flat fee, $100 is the initial fee, so all those new businesses paid $100 for their business license, and then every subsequent year is $25. Excluding marijuana businesses, which is a $5,000 annual business license fee, which is pretty staff does have a full draft in hand. We've been reviewing it, much like we did the chapters as we were reading them piecemeal. We got it on Friday of last week. I think I'm halfway through, and I'm going through with a fine-tooth comb, missing period here, fix all these capitalizations of township and things like that. So we're going through, again, fine-tooth comb. We'll get a list of corrections, send those off to the consultant. They'll give us back a complete draft, and then we'll have a complete draft for the planning commission at our next meeting for your review.
How many were there altogether?
Chapters? I think 10.
We got through 8, so we just need
Okay.
8 or 9 that we.
2 more. Jeez, today.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't get, so I think we got 1 and 2 1 week, and then 3 and 4 a couple weeks later, 5 and 6, 7, 8, and then we got 9 and 10 in the whole draft. That's why it wasn't distributed yet. You'll get the entire draft at the next appendices and all, so it's, I think, 250 something.
Is that gonna be provided to us, hard copy or digitally or both?
Probably both.
Any questions about that?
Let's see.
7B,
I guess I will note one thing. We anticipate adoption in April 2026. Jason, I think, mentioned this before, that he had filed for an extension on the grant, and MISTA was very amenable to it. Basically asked, how much time do you need? So, no concerns there.
7B, wetlands, waterfront, proposed zoning and
Yep, I really don't have anything new on this topic. The most recently provided, or the draft language that we approved at the previous meeting, that's still in Roger's hands for his review. As we heard from Lynn, and I know he's involved with a lot of other things, so I mean, I know he'll get to it at some point, but I'm sure he's got a backlog of work. And then on my end, I'm also kind of doing those research on those topics we discussed at the previous meeting too. So nothing new at this point, but I would anticipate either next meeting or the meeting after to kind of keep that conversation going.
Well, so 2 of the items, the definition of the wetlands and also the requirement for a natural features border, those were approved by, in effect.
Right.
And we sent it back, so the only thing that is new for him to review is our suggestion that all site and plot plans require submission of wetland delineation report of on-site review performed by a professional, given to the zoning administrator, confirming identification, location of any wetland boundaries on the property. So that's really the only thing that he has to look at. And I'm not trying to second guess him, but it would seem like that's more of a ministerial thing than in our bailiwick rather than his. So I'm just wondering if we can move this along a little bit so we can maybe in March have a public hearing, hopefully.
I think that's an appropriate timeline.
And the other thing is, Lynn was here and paced off the distance there's no, I had no objection. He approved 75 feet, so, but I mean, if it's gotta go down to say 25 feet or 20 feet, we can do that after he sends it back, or, I mean, prior to a public hearing, we'd be able to amend that, because I think there's kind of a consensus here that we want to make it reasonable, right? So we can just take care of that later.
Yeah, I mean, it's, with any ordinance amendment or map amendment, it's just standard procedure for staff to get a legal review on it.
Oh, yeah, no.
Before we move forward, so that's kind of where it's all coming from.
I'm all in favor of lawyers,
So yeah, I mean, we'll keep it moving.
Okay, thank you.
this Koski Woods Trail concept.
Yep, so in your packet tonight is a proposal of sorts from the Iron Ore Heritage Trail, partnering with NPN. They did purchase or acquired a parcel kind of south of Northwoods Road, north of Bishop Woods, east of 41, east of 41, about there you go.
They purchased.
Was that from Gottlieb, Carol,
Schwemmen and Joyce Britton.
oh, okay.
Descended
They donated the land.
They sold it. Under property history, it
There's-
says here under number 2 in 2024, 180 acres of 200
Okay.
of the 200-acre parcel of the Koski property was sold to Iron Ore Heritage Trail.
Oh.
And the current owners are the descendants of the Koski family are Carol Schwemmen and Joyce Britton.
Okay, so the Iron Ore Heritage Trail owns the property?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what I was.
Location is showing up on the screen here. I forgot that we put maps up for this. So we have acquired the property, and largely informational for you, really nothing to review or anything like that. But we see it as a kind of great addition of further recreational resources. Really nothing more. And there is, again, in that proposal, shown on the screen here, kind of a proposed map of trails on that parcel, as well as the cost estimate of developing each of those segments.
I found it interesting, on page 3, the last paragraph, page 3, they mention under ecological sensitivity, seasonal wetlands and ephemeral streams are present in small pockets of trail development. Be recommended. So they're cognizant of the importance of protecting the wetlands.
Maybe they should think of including class 2 and 3, in there like the city did. All the trails. See that?
A work session,
Yeah. All the bike paths, you can ride those. There are bikes on there now.
Well, isn't there gonna be a speed limit? Or was that just something I saw in comments on social media? But, yeah, they're gonna include 2 and 3. But I thought there's gonna be a speed limit. So that ought to be interesting. They're gonna have a cop on a bike radaring bikes?
Is that just for the city of Marquette?
Yes, yes. I suppose they could do that. Right. Yeah.
Well, the problem is if they're not, license on the bike or, license plate, they're gonna fight, they're gonna cite them.
Yeah,
There's some good riding there on the driver's license, doesn't have an ID.
Well,
Someone name's Jim Johnson and
Yeah.
that white oak.
call for a car, have him escorted to the city police department, and, until I guess he stays there until, he decides to give up his name for mom and dad to come and pick him up, and then comes accountability, right? Old school,
The old days.
yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they do that.
Yeah, but the cops are loving this.
I bet they are, yeah.
Okay.
discussion with all the reps, we talked about that. We did issue a signed permit for the new golf simulator on the corner here. I don't believe they're open yet or moved in yet even, but working towards that, obviously with the signed permit. Then Jason and I have been kind of moving into the new year here, put an emphasis on kind of continuing education through either conferences or webinars or things like that. So we have both signed up here for both a Michigan Township Association and a Michigan Association of Planning webinar. They're like a few days apart, two different organizations, but 2 days apart. Webinars on data centers, which I mean you see in the news all the time now. We don't really see the township as being a very suitable place for them with topography and utility costs and things like that. I mean, it's got cons like that, but there's also pros being that people talk about cooling them and putting it in a climate like this kind of cuts down costs there. But as far as in the area, I mean, there's a lot more flat ground, say in like Sands Township or kind of in the southern part of the county that would probably be more suitable for something like that if it ever comes up here. But that's not to say we don't want to be prepared if they ever do come. So there have been, just today, I was reading it before our meeting started, data center companies themselves are starting to go after when townships or cities or villages or counties either put language in their ordinance into place or a project fails due to public opposition. These companies, it seems, are starting to go after the municipalities in lawsuits. So again, it's something we need to be prepared for, and whether it will come to an ordinance amendment at some point, it's a possibility. But that's why we'll do webinars and give the education to make sure we're prepared for it. So
Jason, are you allowed to say, or is it still like a confidentiality situation for where the different parcels that Aldi is considering?
confidential at this point. We can't share anything.
Okay.
All I'll say about that. Yeah.
Eric, I know you have your hands full, you have a lot of stuff on your plate, but one topic that we dealt with just this year involves one of my neighbors on that 238. He's the next lot north, Chris Poliano. He wanted to build a geodesic dome on his property, which I think he's got almost 2 acres, something like that. And he went to the ZBA for a variance because there's this ordinance that says that for a 1 acre lot, you have to have a building that's 1,000 square feet.
Well, so I will say he was denied by the ZBA, but he altered his plan to slightly enlarge the structure, and now it's approved, so he's good to go. He'll move forward with construction on his own timeline, obviously within the realms of the 1-year requirement on the zoning compliance application, but he is approved to build that structure at the kind of the revised size that he submitted. The ZBA did deny his appeal application. The appeal application was centered around the fact that the ordinance as it is currently written states that the minimum square footage for a single-family home is 1,000 square feet. Our maximum for a tiny home that we permit is 450 square feet. Tiny homes are permitted through the special use permit process. So obviously the 451 and 999 just kind of not accounted for. So anybody that wants to build a modest, say 750 square foot house, which I mean with the cost of construction nowadays, that's maybe not so modest anymore. But for somebody that wants to build something in that 451 and 999, by definition, the ordinance not permitted. So I think obviously the originally proposed square footage for his structure was somewhere obviously under 1,000. So he had to go to the ZBA So that is something, and especially with this master plan update, once it's done, that's kind of the next step for staff at least will be to kind of go piece by piece through the ordinance to make sure that what we've got in this master plan is, I know the master plan is supposed to back up the ordinance, but at the same time, we want the ordinance to back up the master plan to make sure that the requirements that we have in the ordinance reflect the values and the recommendations and the objectives that we have laid out in the master plan. So one of those obviously is that 451 and 999 square feet, why can't we build that in the township? So getting rid of that, or just calling a 450 minimum square foot, and we can still address tiny homes for anything under 450, but 450 or over is minimum. And then just kind of shoot some ideas back and forth. So
We could amend the ordinance,
yeah,
so we could allow that, would allow people to have more affordable
yeah,
buildings.
that would be the idea. Yeah.
So that's already on your future here. Okay, great.
With the complete master plan draft in hand, obviously we're reading through it right now and reviewing it for edits. But I mean, we're already starting to kind of contemplate what ordinance amendments. I mean, obviously wetlands would be 1A. We've talked about chickens, kind of moving that one down the list. But we said we revisit it at some point. And then the minimum square footage, single family home, that's a big one. And it's come up a couple times before besides Vogliano. Like I said, people that either don't have the resources or don't want to build something 1,000 square feet or bigger. It's kind of, at least me, when I'm telling somebody, no, you can't do it because this piece of paper says you can't, feels, I don't know, feels kind of silly sometimes.
We could change it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, wasn't the city of Marquette's last, because didn't they build something in the city when we were talking about that at some point? It was only like 800 square feet.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their requirements are. I think like for ours, the minimum square footage for like, say, a duplex, I'm pretty sure that's like 750 and 750. So I mean, there are, not to say somebody that wants to build a single family home is not gonna build a duplex so they can have a smaller unit. I mean, then they're effectively building, what, 1,500 square feet. So
You're wrong, but the city might not have a minimum.
they probably don't, you know, it's.
They don't have a minimum.
That's something like with, and this is kind of not old news, but a lot of, Minneapolis was one that really started it. Grand Rapids also did it, getting rid of single-family zoning exclusively. So, I mean, obviously, people are still going to build single-family homes, but there are no more districts in either of those cities that are single-family zoning only. So for example, like rural residential or scenic residential, I don't even think we allow duplexes in either of those places. So those would be technically single-family zoning. We do allow duplexes in Trowbridge by special use permit, but the only housing permitted by right, although how it's written, that's one where it's like south of Werner, north of whatever, multifamily is permitted. So there's a lot of things in the ordinance that can be clarified and lot size needs to support the minimum lot size if each of those structures was on a standalone lot, if that makes sense. So in the case of that one on 550, approved via the special use permit process for both the multiple structures or multiple single-family homes on one parcel as well as the short-term rental. So for ease of conversation, what size that lot is up there, I don't know, but say you have 1 acre minimum for a single-family home. And so if somebody came to me with, I've got a 3 acre parcel, I want to put 3 structures on it, I would say, okay, because you got 3 acres, 1 for each structure. But if they came to me and said, I want to put 3 structures on 2.5 acres, it would be denied because they don't support the minimum lot size for the district with each of those structures, if that makes sense. And then it goes on further to say that they would need to meet all setbacks and other height and bulk requirements. So there are also, not to belabor the point, but when you consider like the county health department putting in well and septic, they've got their